We are going to start to prepare for finals, and the first chapter that we want to refresh is Chapter 1. Back in the day when we studied this chapter, there were variable expressions and there were operations. Okay, so let's name the operation. This is subtraction. There is subtraction. You could also have addition. You could also have multiplication. You could have division. Okay, let's add subtraction to the list. So those are the operations. How would you read this? This is x minus 5. Okay, or since it's at the end, okay, we could also say 5 less than x. Remember, less than always goes at the end. That was the hard one. Okay, so you are going to see some operations on the final. Identify the parts. Okay, the terms are separated by plus and minus signs. So here's a term and here's a term. So there are two terms. The constant is the number. The number all by itself, and that would be a positive 12. Okay, the variable means letter. So the letter in this expression is x. And what does coefficient mean? Coefficient means the number in front of the variable. And in this case, they want us to say the number in front of variable x. I see a negative, but there's an invisible number there, -1. Okay, you always look in front to figure out if it's positive or negative. Okay, so please study these words. We also studied exponents and powers. So let's read this. 7 to the 6th power. So that means 7 to the power of 6. That's exponential form. What does that mean? It means 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. That's what it means. Okay, these are the special ones. Let's put stars by everything you need to study. Okay, x cubed means x to the power of 3. And squared means x to the power of 2. We have to make sure we study those. What does that mean? If it's cubed and the power is 3, that means x times x times x. Squared just means x times x 2 times. Okay. How do you evaluate a power? Okay, you could certainly use your calculator. This is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, or you could use the exponent button, and that makes 81. Okay, make sure you know how to push the buttons on your calculator. If you need help with that, pause the video right now, raise your hand, and I'll come help you with your calculator. Okay, order of operations. Okay, we studied with PEMDAS, so let's make sure we write down what this means. P stands for parentheses. Okay, and what that means is inside the parentheses, you do the calculations. Okay, do we have any parentheses here? We do. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the rest of the problem. Remember how these look like little triangles? Smaller, smaller. So you still have the 4 and the plus sign. I'm going to write the rest of the problem. But inside parentheses, I have to do 8 divided by 2. And that just makes a 4. Okay, now there's really nothing else inside the parentheses to do. The second thing we have is exponents. Exponents are powers. So do we have any exponents here to calculate? We do. So we're going to write down the rest of the problem. And 3 squared is 9. Okay. The next two go together. Okay, these go together. You do multiply, or divide. So how do you know which ones to do? And you do left to the right as you see it, left to right. Very important. I don't see any multiply or divide, so we're going to skip to the last step. And the last step is they go together, either adding, you either add or subtract. So how do you know which one goes first? Again, very important, left to the right. So we have to work in order. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 9 is 17. Okay? If you happen to have a problem where there's a fraction, you have to simplify the top and you have to simplify the bottom. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to do. Okay, in the numerators, multiply parentheses to do. So should I do the exponents first, or should I do multiply first? Let's do exponents first. 5 squared is 25, okay, and then we have to multiply by 2. So if you want to keep working on the numerator, we can keep doing that. 25 times 2, so the numerator is 50. All right, let's go work on the bottom now. We have to have a denominator down here. I see adding, I see exponents, I see subtraction. I don't see any parentheses. Exponents have to happen next, so let's go ahead and do 6 squared. So write down the 1, then a plus sign. So this is what we're going to work on. 6 times 6 is 36, minus 12. Okay? Everything else is adding and subtracting. So let's go left to right. 1 plus 36 is 37. 37 minus 12 is 25. Okay, and now we have 50 divided by 25. Okay, and this can get finished, and the answer is 2. Okay, order of operations. It might be a problem that's all in one line, or it might be a top and bottom of fraction that has to get simplified all the way. Okay, we did lots of work in Chapter 1. Evaluate. Okay, evaluate means plug in or substitute the value. Substitute the value, okay, and calculate. Okay, I want to find the value. So this first problem here says Q minus 16, and it says Q is a 30. So 30, you're going to go right in there into the Q spot. So I have to show 30 going in right there, minus 16. Okay, so you have to substitute the value. Plug in the number, and 30 minus 16 is 14. Okay, remember, parentheses are very important. So here, I'm going to plug the 5 into the X spot. Okay, but let's just put a star here. This is something I want you to study. If I write 3, and then I write the 5, the squared power, this looks really bad. This looks like 35. This problem was 3 times x squared. So I don't think I want to write 3, 5 and make it look like 35. I'm going to put parentheses like this so that the x getting squared is the 5 getting squared. This looks a lot better. Okay, so what happens first? Multiply or exponents? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Exponents have to go first. So the parentheses here, 5 times 5 is 25, and then I'll do the multiplying, get 75. Okay, make sure you check everything with your calculator. All right, we got a couple more. Evaluate. Let's plug in 4. Are these problems the same? Parentheses are very important. Here, it's x cubed. Here, it's the parentheses getting cubed. So these are different problems. Let's show you how the answers come out different. X has to be a 4. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. If I write 2 then the 4 cubed. That looks really bad. That looks like 24. I'm going to put parentheses around the 4 so that everybody knows it's 4 that gets the cube power. All right, so let's calculate. 4 times 4 times 4. Go ahead, use your calculator. And that's 64. Good. Okay, and then you have to do 2 times 64. Please calculate that. And that comes out to be 128. All right, let's see what happens over here, because this is a different problem. I'm going to put 4 into the x spot, but here it was parentheses cubed. So if I write 2, 4, that looks like 24. It's supposed to be 2 times x. Let's put a little time sign right here. 2 times 4. Inside parentheses has to go first. Inside parentheses, 2 times 4 is 8. And then we have 8 cubed. And this answer comes out to be 512. Different answers because it was different problems. Okay, so parentheses are important. The last thing that we studied in Chapter 1 was translating. Phrases are expressions. Okay, so that means they have numbers, they have variables, they could have operations, plus, minus, divide, okay? But let's use a red pen here. No equal sign, okay? Because it's a phrase. It's not a sentence. Okay, so let's try writing this. We're going to find the important words and circle them. The sum. Sum means to add. I have to add a number and 25. I'm going to call the number x. So x plus 25. When you're taking the test, circle the important words and translate one thing at a time. When it says a number, I'm going to call that x. Divided by negative 8. Okay, divided is the operation, so x has to get divided by negative 8. Okay, some of you wrote it like this, x divided by negative 8. But if I type the final like this, make sure you know both ways. Okay, what does quotient mean? Quotient means to divide. To divide. I have to divide 16 and a number x. Okay, so here's the divide bar. Divide 16 and x. The first thing that you see goes on top, and then x goes on the bottom. Okay, what's the math word here? Increased. What operation does increased mean? It means add. It means to get bigger. I'd really like it if they increased my salary, right? Pay me more. 7 increased by a number. I'll call that x. Okay, where's the operation here? This one's kind of weird. Number 5. The operation is of. And of means multiply. 1/4. 1/4 of a number. Of means to multiply. So all these operations that I'm circling, that's what you need to study. Number 6, the operation is multiplied. 4 multiplied by a number. I'm just going to write 4x. That's the best, easiest way to write 4 times a number. Some people like to do 4 with parentheses x, but you don't really need the parentheses. Okay, number 7. The operation is difference. Difference means subtract. Okay, between a number and 3. So the number goes first, x, and then subtract the 3. And if you have a red pen, now is a good time to get out and put a red star by number 10 because this is the trickiest question. Less than. Less than. I know that that means to subtract, but remember how less than had to go backwards? 18 less than a number. So let's pretend like we have a number, and I have to go less than that number. There's my number, and I have to go less. I have to make that number go down. And so 18 less always goes at the end. That's definitely one you need to see. So these are phrases. Expressions are phrases. Expressions are phrases. Not equations. Okay, no equal signs. Okay, but I thought we studied equations, and we did. Okay, which is on the next page here. We did study them. Sentences, okay, are equations or inequalities. Okay, so they have the equal sign or the greater than sign or the less than sign. They're going to have one of these symbols. And you look for the word is. Okay, and then everything after the is means that you put one of these equation symbols. Is gets the equal sign. Is less than gets the less than sign. Is greater than goes like that. Is greater than or equal to goes like that. Is less than or equal to points to the left. Okay, when you're looking at a number line, 0, 1, 2, 3, okay, the greater numbers are always going that way, towards the right. And the less numbers always go to the left. What's less than 3? 2, less, even the negatives. Okay, so we're going to practice, and we're going to find the word is. Okay, is. Just a plain old is going to get an equal sign. Okay, what's on this side? A number increased by 4. So on the left-hand side, let's put x plus 4. On the right-hand side, we'll put a 10. Okay, number 2. Let's look for the word is. The quotient of a number and 11, oh, here it is less than or equal to. This is a big one. Just circle all of it, and that gets less than or equal to symbol. The right-hand side is super small, 44. Now let's work on the left-hand side. The mathematical operation is quotient. Quotient means to divide a number and 11. So a number gets divided by 11. X over 11. Okay, we're not solving any of these. We certainly know how to, but we're just making the sentence. Okay, this is chapter 1. All right, next one. Let's look for the word is. Well, what if it doesn't have the word is? Then it would be back to this, just an expression. Okay, but this page has the word is. Is greater than. Okay, that's this symbol. Is greater than gets the greater than symbol. If it just said greater than, that would be a plus sign. 20 is greater than the sum of a number and 13. X plus 13. Good. Okay, number 4. Look for the word is. Oh, here it is. It's so small. Is. That means it's just an equal sign. What are we going to put on the right-hand side? 20. And the left-hand side, we have to put the difference. Difference means subtract. I have to subtract a number and 12. So x minus 12. You don't have to switch difference. What's the one that you have to make sure you switch? Less than. Very good. Okay, number 5. Look for the word is. Here it is, is. That's just the equal sign. 12 is 1/4 of a number. Of is the operation, and that means multiply. 1/4 of x. There we go. Now we studied solving this. How do you solve a fraction? Reciprocal. Good. Okay, number 6. Let's look for the word is. Is less than. Is less than 22. Okay, over here, the sum of a number of 7 and a number. So that's going to be 7 plus x. Number 7 is less than. Is less than just gets the less than sign. And on the right hand side, I'll put a 3. Okay, let's go look at the left hand side. The quotient. What operation is quotient? Divide. Okay, so let's put the divide bar. I have to divide G and 15. So G gets divided by 15. Okay, number 8. Oh, I need to switch to a red pen. You're going to see why. Okay, let's look for the word is. Is greater than or equal to. Okay, so there's the equal sign, the greater than or equal sign. So I've got two sides. On the right hand side, I'm going to put an 8. Over here, I see less than, and that gets the star. How do you do 24 less than? I know it's subtraction, but 24 has to go at the end. 24 less than a number x. This had a little bit of everything. You should only have one less than sign in your equation, or one equal sign. Number 9, getting to the end here, is equal sign 25. The product. Product means to multiply. I need to multiply -5 and a number b. -5 and a number b. That would be good. Some people like to write -5 times b. Okay, those are both multiply. What about this? What if I said 5 -b? Well, now that looks like subtraction. That's no good. Okay, make sure you pick one of these good ways of writing it. On the multiple choice final, you have to pick the way that I type. If you don't see that one, then look for that one. And the last problem is less than or equal to. Okay, is less than or equal to. 6 goes on the left. A number m decreased by 2. Decreased means to subtract. We don't have to switch this around. We take m and then we decrease it by 2. Okay. I hope that all of these examples helped you to remember Chapter 1. What you're going to do now is practice on your own some Chapter 1 problems to get better for the final. Good luck!